Hey, what's up everyone? As I mentioned before in previous videos, horror will be my favorite genre in video games. And one of my favorite video game companies will be Capcom. So I figured I'll talk about 3 PS2 Capcom horror games. The first game mentioned will be the most popular of the bunch. This is Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil 4.
Capcom will reinvent the Resident Evil formula with over-the-shoulder point of views and hardcore action. This game will also influence other games. As far as the story, you play as Leon Kennedy returning from Resident Evil 2, and he's on a mission to rescue the president's daughter in Spain.
What? All by yourself?
Yes, she's been kidnapped by a cult, and it's up to Leon to aid her to safety. The gameplay, as I mentioned earlier, is an over-the-shoulder shooter, but this one will be different from its predecessor because you have free control of where you're shooting. If you stun your threat, you could follow up with a combo. The game will also have moments to encounter quick time events, so it's very important to always keep your eyes on the screen for scripted QTEs. Also, there's no storage, but now you can manage your items in the inventory. Also, you no longer need ink ribbons to save. You can now just save on any nearby typewriter. And also, this game's story is separated by chapters. When you kill enemies, they drop a variety of items like herbs, ammo, money, and jewels. Why do you need money?
Over here, stranger.
Well, meet the merchant. He will sell items and also upgrade your weapons. He will also buy items from you as well.
Stranger.
Resident Evil 4 is a great game. If you haven't, check it out. It's awesome.
I've sent my right hand to dispose of you.
Your right hand comes off?
The next game is Gregory Horror Show. This game is based off a Japanese animated show of the same name. This game is only available in PAL in Japanese regions. The main gist of the story is that you're a lost soul that's stuck in Gregory's hotel. However, you meet the friendly Grim Reaper and he makes a deal with you. If you collect 12 souls, he will show you the way out. You will encounter numerous guests with different gimmicks and personalities. They will have different daily schedules, so it's very important to learn about these guests by observing them. For example, on the first night you will encounter Catherine, who loves to draw blood with her syringe. She will try to avoid you at first, because she is aware of your plan of you getting her soul. So you have to think outside the box and outsmart her to get her soul. After you give her soul to the Grim Reaper, she will be hostile towards you moving forward.
That kid must have taken it. Now I'm really angry.
Every guest will have a different solution to getting their souls.
Judgment!
There are different items to assist you. You can either find them scattered in the hotel, or you could even trade items at Gregory's shop.
Welcome to Gregory's shop.
This is a pretty fun game. I say check it out. The last game will be Demento, also known as Haunting Ground outside of Japan. This game is known by fans as a Clock Tower spiritual successor. You take the role of Fiona. She wakes up in the cage but managed to escape. However, she is stopped by one of her stalkers in this castle. As she explores the castle, she rescues an injured dog. This dog will return the favor to Fiona as she is about to get attacked by another stalker, Debilitus. Fiona will befriend the dog, who she calls Huey after finding its collar. And this is where the game begins. As far as the offense part, Fiona can't do much in this game. All she could do is either run, hide, or set some alchemy items to stun the stalkers. However, she's not alone in this. No, you command Huey to assist you throughout the game. Just make sure to treat him good. Aside from running from stalkers, There are multiple puzzles to figure out to progress in this game. Also, certain things in this game will cause Fiona to panic. You don't want that to happen. In most cases, she will have a frenzied panic. Things will seem obscure to see, and it will be a little hard to control Fiona in this state of panic. Also, this will cause Fiona to fall to the floor and leave her wide open for her stalker to kill her. The best thing to do is stay as far away from the stalker as much as possible. Now, this is a great horror game from Capcom, and I have to say why. This game only loads once. You will see that loading screen once when you load that game, and that's it. One thing that I will say I find distracting in this game will be Fiona's boob physics. They jiggle throughout the game, especially in this camera angle. You can't miss it. Ha! Haunting Ground is definitely worth checking out. However, it's one of those games that are rare to get, unfortunately. Alright, so that's 3 horror games from Capcom. They were all fun experiences. Gregory Horror Show would be the oddball of the bunch, but I do like it. It's basically a kid version of Clock Tower if you think about it. It's very short and sweet, so the game doesn't overstay its welcome. There is an unlockable feature, which is the roulette minigame. You and Gregory could race to the goal, or you could just play with 2 players. That's pretty much it that Gregory Horror Show has going for it. Now, Resident Evil 4. This game here, I'm gonna ramble a lot. Most of the times I save the best for last, and I'm not gonna hold back. This will be the best of the 3. Like the history this game has, the legacy that it holds from the pre-development is just amazing. Like that alone is why we have games like Devil May Cry, Onimusha, and hey, even Haunting Ground. Heck, even Gregory Horror Show uses the herbs just like in Resident Evil. But hey, Resident Evil 4 playthrough was groundbreaking at the time for its over-the-shoulder shooting controls that influenced games like Dead Space and Gears of War. The camera style will also be used in Resident Evil 5 and Gohan. I mean, just look at it. Also, the settings from Resident Evil 4 was used for those scrap ideas for other Capcom games. You know, things like the castle environment, the giant bugs in the sewers, the portrait of the villain, and so on. The replayability in Resident Evil 4 is very high because you have unlockables, extra modes, and so on. This game has been ported many times. The majority of the footage is from the HD remaster. This game also has a remake which is amazing, and I cannot compare the both. They're both great games. Now, with all that praise, I have to talk about Haunting Ground. Horror game fans love this game, and I do too. But for casuals who know about this game, they probably either know about Haunting Ground because Huey makes a cameo in Resident Evil 4, which even has a nod to Debilitus with the Gigante encounter, or they know about Haunting Ground because how expensive this game is. Yeah, in the horror game community, there's 3 specific rare and expensive horror games on the PS2, and you better believe Haunting Ground is one of them. Haunting Ground is quite the experience and I recommend it, but unfortunately, it was overshadowed by the success of Resident Evil 4. And that's why it was under a lot of people's radar back in the day. On that note with Resident Evil and Haunting Ground, there are elements that was used for Haunting Ground and came back to the Resident Evil franchise. Like I have noticed that Fiona's likeness is very similar to Jill Valentine's face in Resident Evil 5. Now it's never been officially confirmed that Julius Voth lent her likeness to Fiona, but when you see these two, they look identical. Also, Spencer makes his first physical appearance in Resident Evil 5, and he looks a lot like Old Man Lorenzo for Haunting Ground. It all comes full circle. The last comparison I'll make with Resident Evil and other early 2000 Capcom games is the theme of alchemy, or the symbol of alchemy, and the logo in Haunting Ground. They're not identical, but very similar. But yeah, I enjoy Haunting Ground. It's crazy how a scrap side story from Resident Evil 4 about Leon helping a girl and a dog comes in fruition as a full game. Ideas were still used in Resident Evil 4, with Leon protecting Ashley. But yeah, stuff like that you can't ignore. Haunting Ground does have a legacy. As I mentioned earlier, Fiona's likeness is very similar to Jill in Resident Evil 5. Fiona, Huey, and Debilitus make a cameo in Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. And Cammy in Street Fighter V has Fiona's costumes. The Demento port is available in Japanese PlayStation stores for the PS4, but it sucks that it's stuck there, because it's really the only legal way of purchasing it. And I don't want to even talk about eBay. Yikes! This game is known by fans as Clock Tower 4, or its series' spiritual successor. But I like to think that Capcom wanted to make their own Clock Tower game without using the Clock Tower name. You see, they had the license at the time with Clock Tower 3, but that's just my take on it. There's no official word if it was a Clock Tower spin-off or whatever. Anyways, I kinda made this wrap-up part a little longer than I needed to, but yeah, these games are great. Check them out, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.